Welcome back to the Corey Bak'n Show. In today's episode, we're gonna go over the Mars Hydro Grow. Mars Hydro, we got the new green 4x4 tent. Looks fabulous. Love opening up these curtains. The other curtain is kind of balled up here, but this curtain here, when I open it up, got this green tent. Looks good. We got the Mars Hydro reservoir here for the irrigation system. The Mars Hydro reservoir for the humidifier that sits right up under here, and a Mars Hydro dehumidifier that sits back in this corner. So we all Mars Hydro'd out. And once I open this tent up, I even got more Mars Hydro. In this tent here, let's just open the door. Oh, forgot the controller 43 that's up top here, running everything. In the tent, I don't know how y'all can see that pretty good. Let me get my controller over here and I can see what y'all see. There you go. But in the tent, we got the 3 plants here. The sparklets back here on the back left, the mango runts back corner, and up here in the front, the small one is the high wire. And it's not necessarily small, it's just that I tied it down. The main, which is all the way over here now, which was up here. But see how great the plants look. Let me get y'all in here a little closer so y'all can see what they look like. Forgot to turn my notifications off, sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, let me put this down. What y'all can see is this. We just flipped these girls to flower about 5 days ago, and you see how good they are looking. And then I stripped them a few different times, and then all the leaves have grown right back. But the leaves look great, no deficiencies whatsoever. Quite a few bud sites here. Once we get up in the flower a little deeper, we'll expose a few more on this smaller, again, I'm calling it the smaller plant, but it's just bent down. It's not actually the smaller plant. But all these side shoots back here in the back have come up and filled in the area here. So again, we're only week 1 of flower. Really don't even consider this week 1 of flower. I just call it more like the transitional week between from veg to flower. That's where we're at right now. Now some of the leaves are starting to droop in the back here. That's because the lights are going to turn off here shortly. I just out of the blue, I was sitting there watching the pregame for the NBA championship for the night. The night is June the 5th? Yeah, so this is game 2, Spurs, Knicks. So I was sitting there watching the pregame and started thinking about this. I said, you know what, let me start the video. Let the people see what the plants look like from the last time they seen these when I first flipped them to flower. Which is, like I said, it was only 5 days ago. You just see how much more they've grown in that short period of time. Yeah, we got some nice growth on these girls here. But I'm also going to add another part to this video. That's the reason kind of why I did this. At the end, after you get a look at these plants, and be right back. Sorry about that, I'm back. Had to take that call. But I think I left off, I was just showing y'all how big the plants had just started developing. Just letting y'all know, y'all saw these just a few days ago. And then in those few days, they've grown quite a bit. Starting to do some flopping. As you can see in the leaves right in that area there. That's because these lights are going to shut off in about 30 minutes or so. Again, I wanted to get in here and get this part of the video done. And then show y'all something that Mars Hydro sent out to me that I'm going to add to this video. But I definitely need to get in here and get some of this bottom cleaned. You see how dark it is up in there? That's because I need to get some of this bottom cleaned up. I'm going the wrong way, sorry about that. But all that need to come up out of there. That's crazy. I didn't realize these plants are growing. Since I flipped them to flower, they're just taking off. Yeah. Let's get over to the 5x5 and let's see what those girls look like over there. Once again, This is ran by the FC 4800 Mars Hydro. And I didn't get to show you that. Well, y'all seen it in the past. It's just the drainage system for the irrigation system. But as everything is running fantastic. Y'all seen the reservoir sitting right over here. And I got it, I screwed up the other day. I turned the, thought I turned the timer on. And, but what I didn't do is hit the little switch that's on the cord, the power switch. Didn't realize even though I had the timer on, I had the switch in the off position, so the plants didn't get water. Once I realized that, I turned on the timer, turned on the power switch, and ran it. I thought I turned it off, but I didn't turn it off, and it just ran and ran. And luckily, everything's get discharged into my reservoir. I mean, not my reservoir, but my sump pump in the back there. And so I didn't have no flood situation. But I used quite a bit of that reservoir, so I had to put a fresh one on there yesterday. So yeah, but that's a long story for no reason. But the plant's doing fantastic. But let's get over to the 5x5. Over here in the 5x5, look at these girls. Those back two, off to the races. Front two doing their thing, but it's just so much smaller. And the plants here, the sticky suits in the front, the Gorilla Cookies in the back. And those Gorilla Cookies are just in beast mode. Over here we got the FC 8000 with the supplemental bars. And this tent here also in flower. And this is week 1, I think day 5. Yeah, day 5 of flower. But yeah, the plants are doing great. And they're running in this air cube system. And eventually I'm gonna have to get in here and do some maintenance on these plants too. Because they're full of big leaves. And if I let them go a few more days, they're gonna get even bigger. That plant, these two in the back here, they just full. Got one trellis net on here. And I got one on standby right on the side of the tent to add to it if I need to. I'm probably going to have to, looking at the back two plants, but not with the front two. And the front two, again, if I hadn't tied them down, and we still got the tie downs on some of them. If I hadn't put them tie downs on, they would have took off, ran up through this trellis net, because I am growing the same strain in the Spider Farmer 3x310. And they're taking that plant, they're tall as shit. So yeah, I know it's definitely just the tie downs that's stopping these from taking off. But once we get in the flower, I mean, we're in flower. Once we get a little deeper in the flower and the stress period, these plants are definitely reached, especially this one here. It's almost touching, well, it is touching the trellis here, right here. So it'll go through the trellis, and this one will probably get to touching it. But that, like I said, is tied down much more than the other plants. But yeah, I just wanted y'all to get to see what these plants look like this week. But I'm going to get into the next part of this video here. There's a much to show you over here. But outside I need to clean these up. But I wanted to get into another part of this video. And we're going to do that now. All right, we're back. And this is the next part of the video. Somewhat of like an unboxing, but not in a separate video. But anyway, let's get to it. This is the Mars Hydro Decarboxylator. Let's try this again. This is the Mars Hydro Decarboxylator. Sorry about that tongue twister. But yeah, it's a nice little machine that decarbs your weed and infuses your butter, oil, or alcohol, or whatever one you choose. Inside this user manual, It's directions on how to do it and using it. This machine, excuse me. This is one of the tools that comes with it is a plunger, and we'll get into that in just a second. This is the unit itself. The unit has a top, and this top just screws down on top of it once it's done to secure it. Inside, you got your container, one of your silicone lids, your only silicone lid. You got a silicone green tray, and that's important. And it's your strainer. So that's what comes inside your kit. Those items there. And over here, I might as well bring this over here. Let's sit over to the side. But yeah, that's everything that comes with this unit. And this is the inside of the unit there. Power cord on the back. Display unit right here on the front. This can decarb up to 42.5 grams, I believe it was. And that's just the decarbing part of your product, your material, excuse me. And it will hold 7 ounces of oil, butter, or alcohol, whatever one you do. You know, the alcohol is the tinctures, and then you're gonna infuse your oil, your coconut oil, whatever type of oil you use, or your butters. So, and these are all the things that you use to do it. Inside the instruction manual, it gives you a guide on how to do it, how long it takes. Right there inside there. Let's get over a few of the specifications. The dimensions is 4.53 inches to 7.43 inches. And I think that's just these units here. Let's say dimensions. Oh, this is dimensions down inside the tube there. The net weight of the unit is 1.28 pounds. Cup capacity is 350 milliliters. Rated power 100 watts. Outer wall 304 stainless steel. That's the outer wall right here. Inner wall an aluminum alloy. That's what I guess that's made out of. The timer range that comes across the front of the unit here. Your unit, your buttons here to control everything is right here. And your timer is right down here in the bottom left. Timer range is 30 minutes to up to 4 hours. So that's 30 from minimum of 30, maximum of 4 hours, put it that way. Temperature range, 160 Fahrenheit to 250 Fahrenheit, or 71 Celsius to 121 Celsius. The warranty lasts for 1 year. Now, the couple of things we can get into on here. That's like I already explained up across the front of the unit here. You have your temperature controls, positive and negatives. That's the 2 buttons there. On the other side, the left, your timer is a positive and negative, 2 buttons there. And in the middle is your stop and go buttons. Yeah, or your power buttons if you want to call it that. I already told you about the items that come in there. This is your aluminum pot. This is your silicone pot. Oh, here, excuse me. This is your filter. This is your press rod. And that's it. And these are just your lids here for the unit. Yeah, and then the rest of the instructions is pretty much on how to use it. Let's get into, I wanted to get into the timing. Okay, here, this is what I wanted to, for the processing guide, that's what it is. When you're doing a decarbylation plant material, it's going to be set, the temperature for this thing is going to be set to 250 degrees. And it's going to take 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours for that process to go. It doesn't say the weight, but I know here on the weight, it says up here in the user tips, decarbylation, and then you do that in that aluminum pot. Just see aluminum pot there. The aluminum pot can decarbylate up to 1.5 ounces. That's 42.5 grams of dry plant material, depending on density. Now, if you got that real dense stuff, I guess you would either break it up a little better or cut back on some of it. Or the density, or up to 3 to 5 ounces. That's up to 85 grams, up 85 to the minimum, up to 142 grams maximum. And that is of concentrated plant material. Sorry about that, I read that kind of fucked up. Let's go back again. I told you, like I said, dry material up to 42 grams. And that's depending on the density, or 3.5 ounces, 85 grams up to 142 grams of concentrated plant materials. No grinding is not required. Bud stems and similar materials may be placed directly into the pot, so you don't have to clean this up before doing it. When you're infusing, you infuse using a silicone pot, the green one here. Do not fill a silicone pot to the top. It can safely infuse up to 7 ounces. That's 210 milliliters of oil. So that's the oil and butter. So it's only 7 ounces. It's a smaller container. This isn't going to do a lot, but you can get some done. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn off my notifications. Let me see if I can do. Sorry about that. But back to what I was saying. When you're doing the infusion part of it, we just went over the decarb part, but the infusion part, when you're doing butter plus plant material, you do it at 160 degrees for 2 hours. If you're infusing oil, you do it, and that's coconut oil also, that and plant material, 160 degrees for 1 hour. And alcohol plus the plant material that is making tinctures, 160 degrees for 4 hours. But yeah, that's pretty much how we get it going. What I want to do next is actually use the unit. So on the next part of this video, I'm actually going to take some plant material that I have in my cabinet right behind me, and we're going to test this out. Sorry about the notifications once again. I forgot to turn it off, and I didn't want to stop the recording to fix it. So I'm going to stop it this time though. But the next part of this is making some butter. Be right back. All right, y'all, we're back. As you can see, my setup is still here. We're going to decarb. We're going to decarb everything right here. Now, what I still got everything set up. These items right across the back here, the silicone, the green silicone tube, the strainer, and the plunger, we're not going to be using for this portion here, the decarbing. We'll use that when we start the infusion portion. But for this portion, we're going to use the tin can, the lid, and then the main lid there. But first, got to put something in. And what I got over here is my scale, and I have some weed that I've had for about this stuff has been in this jar for 6 months. I had kept it over after one of the harvests, and it's don't ask me what it is. I don't even fucking remember. I have to go back in the videos to see what it was. But anyway, I've been holding on to this just for this reason here, just to cook with it. So, and I've been doing supposed to have been doing a cooking video for about a year now, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. But here we go. first thing we have to do is decarb. And it's like I said, we got everything set up here. Only thing I didn't do, sorry about that, I just kicked the camera, is plug the machine in. Give me 1 second. There we go, we got some power. So, first thing we're gonna do is decarb. We're gonna weigh it first. Get rid of this. We're gonna weigh up some weed here, and then we're gonna put that in the machine, turn it on, and get it going. Now the decarbing portion of it, it just says here in the instructions, use the temperature of 250 Fahrenheit or 121 Celsius, and decarb for 1.5 hours. So let's turn the scale on. Now we're only going to do, let's do 14 grams. All right, we have 14 grams. There we go. 14.2. So that's what we're gonna rock with. Now, this was the first time this machine was turned on just now when I plugged it up. So let's go through some of these settings right quick. I said do 250 for an hour and a half. So the temperature is here. Let's see how we get over to that. Okay, here we go. 250. Why is it moving on? Oh, you barely gotta touch the thing. Okay. So there we go. We got to 250. The time, an hour and a half. There we go. It's pretty simple. Now all I gotta do is add this into the aluminum can here. Not making too much of a mess. Let's back up a little bit. Should have did this on a tray, just for that reason right there, and drop it. All right, scale is not needed anymore. Let's get that out the way. Scoop up our last little crumbs here. I can see down in there. Drop. Let's put the lid on it first. Drop that down in there like so. This top, when you put it on there, you to seal it, you gotta put it down there and turn it. I just got it the wrong way. Like that. There you go, lock that way. Let's go. I think that was the time I just changed. Hour and a half, and the temp again is 250. So all we have to do now is hit start, and that's the middle button here, and it should be working. So we'll come back in an hour and a half, and we'll see what it do. And another thing I'll be checking for along the way is it going to start kicking out any smell? It's supposed to keep the smell encased right in the unit here or I guess minimize the smell. I didn't put a whole lot in there, only the half ounce, 14 grams. So let's see what it do. But when an hour and a half is up, we'll come back. See y'all then. All right, I'm back. The machine stopped and I let it cool off before I attempted to open it up. When it gets to, when it's finished on your display here, with this, you see these lines here, it will just continuously go on a rectangular shape, like almost like a circle. And it will keep doing that while it's doing the cool down stage. Once it's completely cooled down, then it'll go solid bars like it is here. And then it's ready to be opened. I haven't opened it since the machine stopped. So I said I wanted to open it with you together. One other thing, when it comes to that smell, it is definitely on point what I would say that I didn't really smell, and I didn't smoke anything or anything for this past hour and a half, a little more than an hour and a half, about 2 hours, let's say 2 hours. And that's between the decarbing and the cool down. Haven't smoked anything, so we wouldn't have any smell in the house. So I'll see how it works. And it does work. Now, I have decarbed quite a bit more weed than that at one time. So maybe that's part of it. And it was only a half an ounce in here to 14 grams. But I didn't really smell anything the whole time. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. Now, a rubber seal, somehow, I don't know how that happened. I guess it just must have popped off and went down inside the thing there, right? It wasn't sitting like I had it. When I opened it up just now, it had sucked down inside the metal container here. And it's cooled off now, the aluminum container. And yes, the weed is decarb. Maybe I can see that. But yes, from where it started to where we at now, it has definitely done the job. Yep, smell like decarb weed. So yeah, now it's ready. More look, I shook it up a little bit so you can see what was on the bottom. I shook it all the way up to the top. So as you can see, the weed has been decarbed. So that worked. So what's next is to take this material and turn it into butter. I won't be doing that in this episode. I'll be doing that in the next episode, and we'll see that process then. But that's all I have for y'all in this episode. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next one, stay baked.